Welcome to the It's All Fine and Dangy podcast, where hosts Dan and Angie talk with creatives, small business owners, charities, and all kinds of interesting people. It's all real talk. It's all fine and dangy.
Oh.
Can I tell you, though? I swear I'm not trying to be this couple, and maybe it's because we've been through divorces, me, divorce her, divorces me. But by the time we met, I won't tell you how many. By the time we met, we were at a phase where it's like a friend, dude. It's almost like to me, it's like a guy friend. To her, it's like a girlfriend, where it's just like when someone else is getting sensitive, what I love about it is she'll be like, they're fucking driving me crazy with the sensitivity shit.
When you're
but this is a woman saying that, so I'm
find
loving
someone
it.
who's on the same wavelength. Yes, that is a blessing. Welcome, guys, to a brand new episode of Fine and Dangy.
Yeah.
That's right.
Right. There we go.
Yeah. So welcome. Thank you for coming back and joining us in studio again.
I was never here. This is my first time here.
Oh, that's right.
Can I say,
mind, you never have been here.
Can I also say that I've thought about something with that intro. The new intro we got is cool and all. I would like to suggest that we ask our friends and guests that we like, hey, you guys want to do a quick intro for the show? And then I could randomly have different people saying, welcome to the It's All Fine and Dangy show. Because Patricio's voice is, dude, you should have like a Fiverr account. Because when I just paid the other guy to do one, I'm like, seriously, you got 5 minutes worth of work and you make like $60.
Welcome to the Quiet Storm with Dan and Angie.
Right, whatever. I'm saying. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, honest to God, if it wasn't for my voice or my personality, I would never get laid.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much most of us, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
It's
I like that.
Even with my Ray Romano voice, it worked out for me. But you know, it's funny. I like for my books, I've had people go, why don't you read your own books? You would do great. And I'm like, I can't do the voices when you're like doing a girl and a little kid and all that kind of stuff. I can only do my voice.
Well, you just change it, just like the tone of it. You don't like go,
ooh, stop it.
Oh my God, now I kind of want to listen to all of, what's his name, Neil deGrasse Tyson's books, because he's always...
I love that guy so much.
His voice is out of this, literally out of this world. And like, in a world...
oh my gosh, that was like spot on.
He just did. I don't know how long ago he did it, but I just realized you can listen to Joe Rogan's interviews on Spotify without paying for a Spotify account. So that's my thing when I'm mowing the yard and I'm in the middle of his latest interview for his latest book, which he didn't do, by the way. He didn't voice his latest book.
Really?
No, yeah. Joe said the same thing. Like, what? That's the reason I listened to them, for your voice.
Well, he's busy doing Cosmos. He's busy doing this. He's all over the place.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But he just beat that one case as he was dealing with a few about a year and a half ago.
Well, what's that?
I think he had an accusation from somebody that was, I believe it was unfounded, and stuff got out of hand, and he had to take a break from Star Talk Radio.
Oh, I didn't know that
because of how much traction this story was getting.
Wow!
But I don't know if they settled or if the case was dismissed or something. But like he was facing an allegation, and it's like it kills me when I hear about celebrities messing up. And
me too. Or look, I am all in favor 100%. I'm from the South, and one thing about Southerners is we have no tolerance for a man abusing a woman. Amen. At all. And I come from the school where may not be politically correct anymore, but if you see a man and a woman on the side of the road and it looks like it's getting out of hand, you're going to stop and pull over and have words with him, even though it might probably be her fault too. But you know what I mean? It's just a balance of power.
Yeah.
Why aren't you leaving, dude? Before something happens. But I'm hear you. That sometimes I get skeptical, and I don't mean to be that way, but
who's
like the Johnny
more
Depp
skeptical
that you are, but the Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing, I was like,
oh man,
or Chris Hardwick, just something in my gut wasn't right about that one. I'm like, I just don't feel right about what, you know what I mean? And I could be wrong. I don't know all the situation or whatever, but I feel like we got in this little groove for a while where you're immediately guilty.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that doesn't set well with me, because we'll kind of segue into this with you, Patricio. I came from an abusive household as far as my mother being abused by my father for 22 years.
Yeah.
And so to hear these women's claims sometimes of what abuse is in their head, I'm just like, what? You know what I mean? It's more like, these flirtatious type things that maybe a boy who was 18 was making towards a girl, and then it it comes out as
Sexual
this horrible
harassment or
thing,
something, yeah.
and
Exactly.
I don't understand it. It's hard for me as a woman to even accept it.
No, and
not all the time, but a lot
See,
of the
I
time.
can't fathom the thought process that you're going through as a woman and as a man. Where we 9 times out of 10 they're already getting the gallows ready.
Yeah.
The court of public opinion is ready to just get him out of here. Oh, he's guilty. He did this. He did that. And a lot of times, in situations like that. Well, I don't want to say a lot of times, but different case. All cases are different. When does regret become rape?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
mean
That is a great question.
that is that is a very touchy subject, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But it's honest to God, the God honest truth, where someone will have a few drinks, whether it's male or female,
Yeah.
and things get out of hand, and then the next morning you're like, you know what? And we joke around with that term, oh, the walk of shame. Oh yeah. You're walking, with your clothes in hand back to your car.
Yep.
What happened last night? And you drive off. For guys, it's like, you know what?
But, you're leading into what I was just thinking. This is another problem that I have with all this, and that is the way that we program women in this country to feel like a slut or horrible if they do the things that, as a guy, as a young man, you'd wake up and be like, yeah, it didn't matter if it was a throw. And even if you had regret, you were still telling your buddies like, yeah, that one girl last night, and everybody laughed and it was funny.
Yeah.
Instead of, you're a slut, what are you doing, beating you down. And I think that's why sometimes that regret happens with women, because it's like a deep, dark, instead of just, that guy was a loser, I don't know why I did that, and moving on.
Yeah, no, and I've had conversations with female friends of mine that have said, oh, I shouldn't have slept with him. It was the worst. Like,
Right.
They didn't regret it. They're like, oh.
Right. Well, that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I wish I saw more of that, because I don't know if it's some families or whatever, but they become so heady and so much weight on your shoulders. Like you've made a terrible, life-changing mistake.
When
Yeah.
you can literally just move on and forget
Right.
about it.
Exactly. And
I never had that problem.
I know. Well, you're a
I
big...
was more
that's
like
great.
a dude when I was
Yeah,
in
yeah,
high
I know.
school. I was like, hey, what you doing tonight? Okay, me? All right. What's up? I did not have that in me to feel guilty about things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. I mean, are there things I'm guilty for and, that feel a little bit like, just like you said, a little bit, Yeah, of course. But guess what? Get over it. Got to move on.
Got to move on.
You
your
know what
life.
I mean?
But it blurs the line a little bit, doesn't it? Because I want to talk about the foundation that you're helping to you do the marketing for. And I always forget your exact title here, but
Rise Up Woman.
You're the
Foundation.
Rise Up Woman Foundation, but you're the communications director, or the community director for that. And I think when we talk about how we can help women that are in abusive relationships, there's a line between a real abusive relationship and something that isn't, like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But there's also, I feel like there's women in abusive relationships that don't know they're in abusive relationships. You know what I mean? The dial is all over the place here.
Yeah, and this is where like I want to get it like on a serious tone where never with the conversation that we just had, in no way, shape, or form are we discrediting any accusation, but there are certain situations where things did get out of hand.
Yeah,
and hey, okay, my bad. We're moving on. We two consenting adults, things got a little bit past than what it should have. And hey, they resolved it, they moved on. But then there are some situations where this is where the foundation needs to get involved, where someone takes advantage and forces themselves upon a helpless victim.
Of course.
That right there is like, if the person is completely intoxicated, or you put them in that state of intoxication, then right there, that's where the line is at.
Sure.
If you're forcing them against their own free will and they're not consenting to anything that's going on, then that right there is the line.
Right. And it's relationships too. That's another big line, because a lot of this isn't a date or you went out and hooked up when you shouldn't have. A lot of this is you're in a relationship with somebody that is abusive to you. And whether it be physically abusive, mentally abusive, reading some of the stuff on the website about how controlling your finances, it was interesting to me. I know this probably sounds weird, but there's almost like a test on the website that says, how to tell when you're in an abusive relationship. And I thought, you don't know when you're in a, but you wouldn't necessarily. You've been manipulated, and you don't know that this is not the norm. And it's heartbreaking to me.
No, it really is, because there are so many women out there, and we're talking about the women in specific because that is what the Rise Up Woman Foundation focuses on, is women in these situations. And I've worked in law for going on a little bit plus 7 years and dealing with victims of domestic violence, battery cases, abusive relationships, marriages, all that stuff. It all depends on the assailant as well, the other party involved.
Sure.
And a lot of times these people who, whether it's, they have a lot of money, they have a lot of power, they will utilize that against their spouse. And, I make so much amount of money, you don't have to work. You can rely on me. But that right there, and there are marriages out there where the husband is, bringing in all the money.
It's kind of a prison, though.
It really is, because I have a couple of friends who are in those relationships.
Yeah.
But, some of them are good, and then they're the other bad apples.
Yeah.
And then there are some where they hate it. They cannot stand it. They want to get out. But at the same time, because of the mentality that these individuals have, which is I've said before on different podcasts, but the victim mentality.
Yeah.
Their spouses, their boyfriends, their partner has found their weaknesses and exploited them.
Right. Exactly.
I like how you said that they found them, because it's almost like they're looking for it.
Well,
too.
they probably are.
Yeah. To see how they can control and manipulate.
So, I have perspective for one of the few times in my life. I have perspective here, but in a good relationship, not to be weird, but in a good relationship, though, when you learn what your partner's weaknesses are, the things that they might not be sure about, or the things that are a pain point for them in their past, those are the things that you try to, even if not directly, sort of subconsciously support and know, I know he or she doesn't like this or doesn't want to do that.
That's right.
But I feel like those types of people will sort of secretly record those things and then remember that's a point of manipulation that they can use in the future. And, there's some of the other things on your website that kind of threw me at first were like the boutique, where women can go and get clothes, I guess, and get a confidence boost and a makeover or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of the times that when the husbands have a stay-at-home wife, they have a stranglehold not only on their mentality but on the finances, on everything in the house. They control everything. Yeah. Like I've said, not giving any names, but I have a friend of mine who, her husband gives her a stipend, whether it's an allowance or a stipend, whatever you want to call it, to spend, I've heard of this, on her day out.
Yeah.
And this and that.
Sure.
And it breaks my heart because, I work my ass off for every dime that I have in my pocket.
Yeah.
And working at the office, doing a podcast, doing the side hustle, doing whatever I have is because I've worked my ass off.
Relatable.
I can just go out and have a good time.
Yep.
But then there are these individuals who don't have that luxury of being able to go out, whether it's because the husband says, I don't want you to work, or, forgive me for saying it like this, has gotten her pregnant, and now she has to cater to that child.
Sure.
And a lot of the times in these marriages, the husband or the spouse will weaponize everything.
Yeah. The woman has no money, has no job, is at home, has been at home raising kids for 5+ years or whatever, is afraid that she's not going to be able to get a job anywhere, and that without being with him, she's going to starve in the streets or something. And I think that's why maybe some women don't come forward when they're in an abusive relationship, because they don't know how they're going to survive after.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's also why we need foundations such as Rise Up Woman, the Rise Up Woman Foundation.
Yeah,
because then they have a place to go to kind of get back on their feet.
And that's the one thing. I mean, if the individual wants to break this cycle of the abusive marriage, the abusive relationship, the abuse in general, you are gonna have to go through a hardship. It's not like there's a rainbow that's gonna come and pick you up and okay, it's all over.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to him no more.
It's like any divorce or anything, times 10 probably.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And dealing with divorces on a daily basis, I talk to clients every day that they're upset about the process because hey, it's been 7 months and we don't even have a mediation date.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, your partner doesn't want to coordinate or contribute to what we're asking for. So they're purposefully prolonging the case.
Burning the clock.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, the court gives us power to move forward on certain things. But of course, the system itself is in place to give justice to everybody.
Of course.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, these abusers will abuse the system itself just for their own personal benefit.
Yeah.
It's something I feel like we don't think about. When you see women out in the world, we think about abusive relationships as you're being physically abused, which of course it includes that.
And that it's only behind closed doors or something.
Right.
That, it's not out where you'll ever see it.
And like in your day-to-day life.
And
out in the
sometimes
world.
these individuals will do it out in public, but not in the most like how would I say it, obvious way. Whether it's like grabbing the shoulder or grabbing the arm, like no, we got to go.
These abusive sort of subtle hints.
The subtle hints, but then they're the ones that are verbal, like no, she doesn't like that. Oh no, she can't drink anymore. No, we're going to be leaving.
Oh,
Yeah, why are you
why are you speaking for her?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are times where like I've heard it, and for me being the person that I am, that coming from a domestic violence household, I've told the story on other shows where as a child, not my father, but my stepfather had dragged me down the stairs from my aunt's apartment because I didn't want to come downstairs because he was constantly hitting my mom, constantly yelling at me, constantly yelling at everybody. And I didn't want to be that environment. My aunt knew what was going on, but this is the 90s. No one said anything.
Yeah.
No one said shit. And they just let it be like, oh, that's their problem. We don't have to get involved.
Yeah.
But then when you see, a 9-10-year-old Patricio getting drugged by his hair down the stairs into the house because, oh, dinner's ready, from a woman who's been scared this whole time as she's prepping this meal to make sure that it's the proper way that he wants it. No, I'm sorry. The cycle has to end now.
Yeah.
Not to promote violence, but I can tell you that one thing that I have like an aversion to is situations where kids are being abused. I don't even care if it's like a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, Angie will tell you I've got to turn it off, or she'll be watching something. I come in the room, and even if it's a fake story, I'm going to fall apart. I got to leave the room. I can't handle it. I had a bad childhood with that kind of stuff. So when I hear stories like that, I suppose my first reaction should be that someone needs to help her out of the situation. I'll be honest. My first reaction is someone needs to do something to him. Which only probably propagates the problem.
I feel like that's your sense of justice, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like good people have a sense of justice and they know what's right and wrong.
Well, that's what I meant about that southern side of the road thing. If he did that in the wrong neighborhood or the right neighborhood.
And then that right there is, once again, reality hitting a hard one right there. The court of public opinion.
Yeah.
You can't take the law into your own hands.
Exactly. And this is what I meant.
Which
where
is bullcrap. We should be allowed to be vigilantes.
No,
Have you seen the movie?
But here's why.
Vendetta.
Can I tell you why I don't agree with that though? Because it's like road rage. If you've ever had someone on the road, anytime you ever watch these YouTube videos, road rage doesn't fit. No one gets their ass kicked from road rage and then says, you know what, I'm going to be an outstanding citizen now. It doesn't change anything.
Doesn't.
Never.
No.
It doesn't change a thing. It made you feel better for a second.
Yeah. So what kind of programs do you have in place to make a real impact or a real change for women that come to the foundation?
Yeah. So for those that contact the foundation, we try to get them the tools that they need, the information they need, the legal resources that they need. Because a lot of the times, women in these situations, there is a child involved. And that's their first thing. They're like, what's going to happen to little Sarah? What's going to happen to little Chris? If I were to go down this route? Well, look, there's going to be a moment where you're going to have to let go for a bit.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that you need to begin the cycle to break it. Because if you're willing to put up with the verbal abuse, with the physical abuse, with the limitations, with making sure that everything is the way he wants it to be, you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life until that kid is 18, 19 and then moves on and goes to live their happy, peachy life. And
well, you've also programmed them to think this is okay for their happy life.
And you don't know what kind of cycle you're, maybe keeping that cycle going in one way or the other. Yeah.
So we offer, the consultations with attorneys. We offer the process of getting with legal aid, with preparing the documents if they don't have enough money to move forward with the process, because unfortunately divorce is expensive.
Oh yes.
An uncontested divorce, it could range you, and this is just me saying an uncontested. Yeah. What uncontested means is that you guys are in full agreement with everything. You guys know what to do. You guys know what you want. You guys know what you can give each other.
I'm kind of a professional on this one. We'll go ahead.
You're looking anywhere between $45,000 to $6,000 alone.
Crazy.
For an uncontested divorce. Now, a contested, where you want this. I know he can't see the kids. I want them every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. He can have them Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's it. No overnights. And you're fighting this. That is a contested divorce. And whether it's the division of assets, division of all this stuff.
There's no cap.
There is no cap. It can range anywhere between $7,000 and the sky is the limit, depending on how petty you want it to be.
Right.
Yeah.
I was in a relationship for 9 years that was not I don't want to say it was abusive. Like, it wasn't physically abusive, but there were things that I was not happy with, and I just wanted to be done with it. Now, we weren't
And we
married.
just want to say that you were not the abuser.
Correct.
Sure. For clarity. Thank you for that.
Clarity. Okay, the guy working at the foundation, no.
Right.
Okay.
No, she gave me. She
It can go the other way, people.
Sure it
you
can.
know?
Maybe it's the long not the sex on the beach that's making me going to say this, but yeah, she
That's
came
a
at
drink. He's not
That's a
having
drink.
sex
He's
on
not
the
having sex
beach.
on the
There's all
beach.
these
On the beach.
disclaimers.
she came at me with an aluminum bat one time
Oh,
because
okay.
I came home late.
Oh, no.
I can understand that. I was out with some friends and I came home at around 4 a.m. Okay, but don't come at me with a bat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, so relatable here. Seriously. So I've had phones thrown at my head, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
But
I do want to say I did come from an abusive household.
Yeah.
Now, my dad was not physically abusive with me until I became like of looking like a woman. Right? I think he has a real problem with women, this guy. But so obviously that kind of violent behavior is in my nature somewhere,
Yeah.
And I cannot say that I have not been volatile in past relationships.
Yeah, I mean, it's learned.
I have been triggered, dude. I have been triggered, and that part of me has came out.
I'm not justifying this by any means, but I guess one thing I feel like you did get from that, though, is you have zero tolerance for
Nonsense.
abuse towards women.
Yeah, I
zero
don't.
tolerance for
Zero.
it.
No, and like
I'll be the one stepping up.
Where I was going with that in regards to the 9 years splitting up, in those 9 years, I helped with getting this, getting that. There were so many things in the house that I just bought, and I said, you know what? The 9th year, I just packed I packed some trash bags with my clothes, put my dog in my car, and I left.
Like ran almost.
I left TVs, I left couches, I left so much stuff that, you know what? Count my losses. I think my freedom and my happiness is worth a hell of a lot more than a couch or a television.
Well, I suppose that's exactly the mindset that you have to sort of get these women in when you're trying to get them out of these situations, because you just got to go. You got to cut ties and go. You got to get out of that house, right?
There's a meme that I love that says, "I love you, but I'm going to smack you with some truth right now."
Yeah.
And the truth is, you're going to have to sacrifice your lavish lifestyle or whatever lifestyle that you have at this point right now to get where you want to be.
Where you need to be.
Where you need to be, exactly.
For your mental health. I mean, mental health is so huge in the news right now.
Yes.
And to be able to have that, they've got to break away and they've got to work on that mental health.
And yeah, contacting the foundation, we're going to get you in contact with someone who's going to get you to where you need to be.
So how do women contact the foundation?
So going to riseupwomanfoundation.org, and I swear I wish I had the number off the top of my head.
We'll put the link in the notes.
Exactly. Go into the link right there. We're going to get you in contact with someone that's going to help you. And here's the thing. No one's going to, how would I say this, save you overnight. You have to take the first step. If you've had enough, or if you can't deal with it anymore, you have to take that first step and break the cycle. Stop defending him. Stop making excuses. Stop just stop protecting him.
Yeah.
If there is an argument, a constant argument, whether you made the salad too salty, or the chicken is too rough.
People live in this world blows me away.
I know.
Or you're hanging out with your friends and he's driving around the area, making sure you're okay, asking your location, monitoring your phone calls, all that stuff. That's not normal.
Right.
Thank you for saying that. Yes.
Can I tell you, that's what I loved about that test, because people don't even know these things aren't normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what is it? It's a healthy, unhealthy, or violent.
Well, I'm going to cheat because I wrote it all down here.
Yeah.
But it is healthy, unhealthy, or abusive. And so it may not be abusive, but it might still be unhealthy.
Yeah.
But from what I gather,
it's important for everybody to assess their relationship from time to time and ask themselves those questions. Because an unhealthy relationship can become healthy.
Right. But what I gather from reading some of that and reading about abused women is I think a lot of abused women assume it's unhealthy, if they even know it's unhealthy, when it's abusive.
That's true.
And that's different. An unhealthy relationship, like you said, there's no coming back from an abusive relationship.
I recently got onto this show called If Loving You Is Wrong. Have you ever heard of that show?
I haven't.
It's a show from Tyler Perry that came out back in 2014 or 15, and my girlfriend got me on it. And there's this lady on the show called Esperanza, and her ex-husband, who's a cop, is constantly coming into her life, like, yo, why are you talking to this guy? You still want to be with me? He's constantly just bullying her, just pushing her to the
voice in her ear
to the limit. And then she's dating this dude, and I'm sorry I'm talking about this show. My girlfriend got me on it.
No, it's
okay.
But it's funny that because you deal with this kind of thing that you're seeing it in a show, right?
Exactly. And she's dating this dude who is a bit of a punk.
Right.
But then you find out he's part of a cartel. So her friends tell her, listen, you did it again. You went for that dude. You want that bad boy. You want that dude who, gives you that thrill. And look where it brought you again. And I'm like, you know what? There are a lot of times where not only is it just women, but men in general that will chase after a woman who they see that they have this flaw. It's like, you know what? I know that flaw. I can deal with that flaw. It's okay. It's fine. But then that flaw brings other flaws and just messes you up entirely. And same thing for women.
Yeah.
They go after that one type of guy. But here, that one type of guy has a certain type of problems that will freak it up.
Every time.
I don't know why I censored myself.
You don't have to censor yourself anymore on this show.
No censoring. No censoring.
But it's funny because it's not funny, but you have experience with abuse in your life as a kid. You have experience with Angie in your life with your dad.
Many years.
I have experience with it. And I guess what I wonder is for women that have experience with it in their lives growing up, they're either going to be completely against it or they're going to end up in another abusive relationship.
Correct.
And then I wonder about people that have no exposure to it, that get in one and don't know that's what it is because they've never really experienced it. I can't get in the headset of it.
Because they're like, oh, I'm going to try and go out with a guy who's this or that. And then this is where the victim mentality comes in, where they are not used to this, whether it's, someone being nice to them, being, there for them, things like that, and not demanding of them all the time. We're like, you know what? No, I'm not accustomed to this. This is weird.
Yeah.
And that right there triggers a self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
And
it's like a mental disorder being an abusive person, isn't it? I mean, it seems to me like it is almost. It seems like it's
definitely. Definitely. I mean, we have so many categories when it comes to PTSD that I feel that I have it. Look, from all the information that we're talking about today, I just want to clarify, I am not an attorney.
Oh, yeah.
I am not a therapist. I am talking from experience, working in the legal field, experience being a victim of domestic violence, and from accounts where I have dealt with people, family, friends, loved ones that are being abused. And, I'm Hispanic. I've had to get involved.
Yeah.
I've had to go pick up somebody because homeboy, had a couple of drinks and now he's banging on the door of the bathroom and she doesn't want to deal with this right now.
So it's funny. I keep saying it's funny, but
it's not funny, Dad.
It's not funny.
Coming from the South, believe it or not, there's a lot of similarities. Because I remember seeing so much of this, and you say you're Hispanic, so you get the call that says, my boyfriend. This is very similar to the redneck groups that we grew up in. You had some people that were do anything for you and best friend in the world. And then you had these others that were abusive to their women or abusive to their men. And it was accepted as the status quo. So there's a similarity in some cultures, I think, for
a lot
for accepting abuse.
Yeah. And like, look, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
I'm in a
You're
relationship.
not?
I'm not perfect.
We're gonna wrap up. We're gonna wrap it up.
Gotta go.
I tend to be, jealous. I tend to question things. I tend to overanalyze things a lot because of the line of work. And maybe that's the PTSD that I get from working in the legal field, working criminal, family, all that stuff. And there have been situations where I've had to apologize to my girlfriend. Hey, look, I'm sorry I acted this way. I'm sorry that I came up with these questions, but
it's like watching CSI every day or something for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
Where you start getting,
and there are certain mannerisms, certain actions that trigger that line of thought that I'm like, wait a second, you did you stirred your coffee counterclockwise this time. That means you're doing this, you're doing that. And of course, I'm exaggerating.
Yeah.
But it's little traits that get picked up because of all the cases that I work, that now I'm constantly like, no.
But just like a doctor, you have to separate like work life from home life. You know what I mean? It's hard to do, but you got to make that separation.
Yeah, true. But you know what you're doing that's good though is you can tell by the way you joke about it in an extreme way that you are self-evaluating. Yeah. That's what we always need to do. Yeah. You're checking yourself to make sure. Yeah. So we'll put a link in the show notes for the website, for the phone number, and
I'm so thankful that nowadays there's so many organizations out there that are set up to help protect women.
Correct.
But yet we still have this problem. You know what I mean?
It's coming forward is probably the hard thing.
The breaking, just like you said, that first step, you know, and I'm sure there's a lot of that first step that gets turned around and goes right back. Then there's a second step and turn around, go back, and a third step. It's how many... It should only take the first step, but it doesn't. It takes some women a lot of steps to.
It's a life-changing thing, though, I would think.
And I'll say this for your listeners, all right? And I do this because seeing it growing up, seeing it every day, and just seeing it all around, it hurts. It hurts that people allow this to happen. People don't do anything about it because 1, they're scared. 2, they don't know what to do. 3, they're afraid of what's going to happen if they go down this route. I am not an attorney. I am not a psychologist. But if you want someone to talk to, contact them. And even if you're afraid of doing that, put my information up there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will be more than happy to talk with you. Whether it's grabbing a cup of coffee, eating some chicken at Popeyes, talk to someone. I will be more than happy to talk to you.
Yeah.
And give you, not as a professional, but just as a human being.
Just the experience that you've had too. Yeah.
My thoughts on your situation.
Yeah.
And I can put you in contact with the people that are going to help you find your new normal.
Yeah. And I want to encourage people out there. Part of caring about your community is caring about those in your community.
Correct.
And it's paying attention and it's speaking up and it's not saying, I don't want to get involved. You do need to get involved when you see situations like this or you think that something like this is happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
important for you to do that.
This is one of those things you can't look away from.
You can be a vigilante.
And
I'll say by speaking up.
And look, like I said, no one's perfect. I talk to a therapist.
Yeah.
Once or twice a month just to make sure I'm okay.
Yeah.
I take my mental health days just to get away from everything that goes on. A break from podcasting, a break from the legal world, a break from the relationship. I swear to God, relationships. Sorry,
okay.
I said.
Yeah, she's listening right now going,
He's over there flagging. Hold on, I'm reading the sign language. Please edit this out.
Yes, and Patricio, he needs a mental break because he wears so many hats, you see. We haven't even gotten into the tip of the iceberg of what this man does.
So let's talk about some of that too. So very important topic we talked about. We'll put information in the show notes, and I really hope that people do come forward when they're in those situations. I know it's a very hard thing to do. Let's talk about your production company.
Yes,
because that's super interesting to me.
Note.
I saw that you posted something about your production company not too long ago.
Yes,
I'm obviously a big fan of audio, video production, all that stuff. So what's going on with that? So
what I'm doing now is I am helping individuals who have the idea of wanting to produce a podcast that don't know the first step, that don't know.
I love it.
They have that idea. They are like, hey, listen, my friend Jackie and I, we have this idea for a podcast where we talk about coffee and this and that, and we just don't know what to do.
Right.
I'm like, well, let's sit down. Let's talk about your idea.
So do you help them with equipment or software? Oh, I love it so much. We've talked about this because I have gone through the gambit of wasting my money on pieces and parts before I feel like I got it right enough for us. Mm-hmm. But that kind of experience and expertise that you have, that's got to be hugely valuable now.
I work for, at this point right now, after 5 o'clock, I work for myself.
Yeah.
I have a couple of clients now where there are some that we had to sign a non-disclosure agreement because they just want the credit for everything. But basically,
Yeah.
Whether it's editing audio files or distribution of podcasts, I have clients where I'm actually in the room. I'm actually part of their show and producing their content, producing their videos, all that good stuff. And it's basically I help produce podcasts here in Orlando. And
Love it.
So how do people find you for that?
so with that one, you go to withasideofchaos.com. You scroll down to contact me. And I'm sorry I have a hiccup and a burp.
It's the alcoholic
It's from all that
beverage.
sex on the beach.
It's all, that's how I got the sin in here. Sorry about that. But no, it's something that I wish I had when I first started off in podcasting.
Yeah.
Oh, amen.
4
Me
years
too.
ago.
Me too. In fact, I'm probably going to hit you up now for a few questions I have about, some of the stuff we're starting to get into. But you said they can find you where?
With a sideofchaos.com.
Which is your podcast.
My podcast website. Of course, I got to do a shameless
Okay.
plug.
do it.
Yes. So another hat. Okay.
Yeah, so
Don't try to count these.
I wish I had someone like me a few years ago where they're like, hey, these are the tools that you need.
Yeah.
I remember reaching out to a certain podcaster here in Orlando.
Yeah.
A very famous podcaster. And I, may or may not share your name. We'll just leave it at that.
Right.
And I said, hey, I want to kind of go into this, and kind of gave me like the brush off, like really didn't want to help me.
Oh,
And
that's disheartening if it's who I think it is.
right on the money. 3.5 years later, I've been nominated alongside him every year for best local
Oh,
podcast.
that's got to be
amazing.
gratifying.
Oh, that makes me. That gives me an audio boner right there.
Yeah. You know what we always say? Like, there is so much success to go around. You don't need to discourage anybody from, being your competitor.
Right.
You should encourage it, and make a camaraderie out of it.
Yeah.
And there's so much success. Like, there's 3 small coffee shops, like right within a very short distance of each other in Apopka. Do you think we go to every one of them? Of course. You know what I
course we
mean?
do.
Like, everyone's different. We love the vibe in different ones. You know what I mean? Like, there's success for everybody.
I wonder if it's that though. Maybe it is, but you and I have talked about the philosophy of enough success to go around. We've had guests on that go, I don't want to mention the other podcast. I'm like, why not, man? Have them over. We'll do a whole thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes I wonder in that situation, maybe it was that. Maybe you're right, but maybe it was also this. I'm successful. I don't have time. And I hate that too, because it's like at one point you weren't.
I don't have time is not an excuse.
It's not. And think about when you got started. That's what I always feel like for people. Anytime there's a question about anything I may have expertise on, I feel like that's my passion. Hell yeah. When you want to talk, say when.
So he offers that help, but sometimes I say, you got
to stop. You got to stop.
Slow the roll there, buddy. We got date night.
But no, in regards to like all the hats that I wear, yeah, I do audio visual, I do production, distribution, through all the markets, whether it's iHeart, Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes,
Love
Google
it.
Podcasts, it goes out there. I just shot my first commercial 2.5-3 weeks ago.
Sweet.
And that one was a freaking pain in the ass because, mind you, I have this is literally, like I said, zero experience in this field. But someone,
I saw you doing it. I saw you one of your social media posts where you were setting up for it, like a restaurant, right?
Exactly. And a friend of mine hired me for it. She's like, hey, listen, you're doing this. Can I hire you for a commercial? I'm like, you know what? And I told her, you are my first client, so I want you to tell me how much you want to pay me.
Yeah.
Which is the worst mistake to do.
Sure.
$1.
But you know what? It's two things. It's exposure to the process and it's building your portfolio,
Exactly.
man. I mean,
That's right.
I'm taking my pilot's license for UAV for drone, for doing like side work for drone footage.
Nice.
Got all these people coming to me for like real estate. And I'm thinking the first few jobs I do, just like you, I'm going to be like 50% off what you would normally pay, or maybe even more, because of the experience, the exposure, the portfolio. Because if you can go to the next restaurant with, I don't know how you do this. I don't know if you have like a website set up or whatever with all your stuff.
That's the thing. So like, I'm slowly building my portfolio. I just got a new client that's the non-disclosure where I can't say who they are.
Yeah.
But they produce how would I say? They provide a product that makes everybody happy. And we'll just
Is it
leave.
Viagra?
Oh, well, not that happy.
Okay. But can your name be on it?
No.
Okay.
They basically just
that's experience. So it's one of the two.
They
Okay.
take the credit for what I do, and I mean, hey, they're paying a good amount. The check clears every month, so by all means, I will do what they ask of me.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant. You got to sort of compartmentalize. You're either going to get experience, portfolio, or both. So
Exactly.
At some point,
Yeah.
you can sit down and say, "This is all the stuff I've done," or you can talk shop because you've done enough.
Yeah,
But
no,
that's-
and it's kind of the point where like I'll be out on a date, and this happened a few weeks ago, where I am at the pool with my girlfriend, and I bring the blender, I bring all the stuff to make a margarita, and we're just chilling at the pool. My watch goes off, and I see, oh, it's an email from so and so. I run, I grab my laptop, I set it up, I set up my hotspot, and I start doing what they asked me to do. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I am working. Give me 35 minutes."
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, I will tell her exactly how much time I need,
Yeah.
so she can go do her thing because I know how long this is going to take me.
Yeah.
And I kept telling myself, I keep telling myself that if I get to a certain amount of clients, then I may have to bring someone on board to assist me. And sure enough, I am one client away to the point where I have to bring someone on board.
Oh, how great is that?
So in a span of, because I started the Chaos Network in January. It was an idea that we had with some other podcasters that I had with other shows that I was producing, and it was going to be more of a networking thing.
Yeah.
Where we're going to help you, expand your show. The late Chris Fio from the Experience with Chris Fio, who tragically passed away about a month and a half ago from a bicycle accident.
Oh.
We were in the talks of him leaving his media company to join the Chaos Network, and we were getting everything in order. And unfortunately, the day of our meeting, he was involved in a bicycle accident.
Oh my goodness! Like a
And-
bicycle, like a street bike.
E-bike.
Oh, like an e-bike. Oh,
Yeah, and
goodness.
here's the thing. Like, and
Scary.
I don't talk too much about this incident because it really hurts. But it was a friend of mine, Chris Fio, who had an e-bike, and those things go up to almost 50 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
rode them in
We've been
North
on
Carolina.
one. Yeah.
They're they're fucking dangerous.
They are.
We not to
And
not
if you've
to
been on it for your first time, like, yeah.
not to make this a humorous story by any means, but we rode them in North Carolina, and we went up in the mountains and doing mountain biking. It's funny because when we got back and we told the guy the chain keeps coming off, he's like, "You didn't go up in those real mountain bikes with those bike trails with those, did you?" I'm like, "Yeah." If I show you the footage, it looks like we sped it up because it was a hybrid e-bike, but we would pedal on these precarious little tiny trails on the edge of the mountain, and we are hauling absolute ass. It was like,
I bet.
They're
it was
fast,
like one
yeah.
wrong move, we would have shot right off the side of the mountain, and it was very intense. I can't imagine riding those on the street with cars and stuff around. Is that what happened? He got hit by a car, or
He lost control,
Oh, goodness.
and he passed away from it, and it brought a lot of awareness to the community of e-bike safety, because there are no rules and regulations out there right now that
coming, I'm sure.
enforce helmet wear or registration of said vehicles to be out on the road.
Yeah.
And so it's something
surprising. It's because it's a motorized vehicle.
Yeah, because
And
it's basically like a scooter,
Yeah.
almost. I mean, they go just as fast as the little scooters.
if not faster. And I've been in contact with his former production company, his production manager, and like we wanted to move forward with introducing with some local politicians as well, with introducing new legislature that would enforce safety and a registration for e-bikes. Because imagine a 15-year-old kid on an e-bike that doesn't need to register, it doesn't need to have a license for it, and can go 40 to 50 miles an hour
Yeah.
down Orange Avenue.
It's insane.
And then, one burst of wind and his face is impaled on a Lynx bus.
Ugh.
Wow. Well, super tragic story, but at least you are taking that experience and actually making a difference with it potentially.
Yeah, we're moving forward with that in the next few weeks. It's just been the grieving process with the family.
I'm so sorry.
With our friends in the circle of podcasters here in Orlando. It hurts so much because everyone, the second we found out how it happened, immediately we're like, we told them. We told them not to be on that e-bike.
Yeah.
And, it is economical. It is, it gets you there quick, but it's like, at what cost?
Scary. Yeah.
That was very scary.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, so sorry to hear about that. And again, I'm glad you guys are taking the steps to maybe make a difference so nobody else dies in a scenario like that.
It's a lot of things happen in every day. Let me get my words together because I feel like the sex on the beach kind of kicked in a bit.
Welcome to the It's All Fine and Dandy podcast.
Did you get it? Did you get it light, regular, or Dan strength?
I got it Dan strength.
Okay,
yeah.
That's why I should have warned you.
But no, a lot of things have happened in my life where I try to make a difference.
Yeah.
And whether it's, the domestic violence that I saw as a child, being raised by a single mother who, worked 2 to 3 jobs just to keep, food on the table, clothes on my back, roof over our head. Dealing with discrimination in the Hispanic community or just dealing with discrimination in general, I've always tried to be somewhat of an advocate for those who don't have a voice. And this one, not to be funny, just like Dan had said, I was a huge advocate for the legalization of medicinal marijuana because that saved my life.
Yeah. I'm looking into it right now for pain I have, for chronic pain.
I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 12 years old. And they put me on medication that destroyed my liver.
Yeah.
And I don't like to drink.
Yeah.
I like to have a good time.
Well, you like to be alive, too. You need your liver for it.
Exactly.
And you do? Oh, yeah, that's right.
When I moved to Colorado for college in 2004, they had just passed the medicinal marijuana.
Yeah.
And I started looking into it. And I'm not going to lie, 3.5 years of trial and error with medicinal marijuana was fun. But we finally found a strain of weed. I don't want to say it like that, but we found a strain of marijuana that allows me to live a normal life.
That's so commendable, and it makes me so happy for you because I've had chronic pain since 2017 now, and I'm about to go into some major surgery for it. I'm not going to go into details of it. I'll tell you off air, whatever. But we're talking to a friend, and I'm going to get my card because same thing. I want to be able to take it where I can function, but the pain is not there.
And one of your organs isn't going to die from
exactly
what you're going to be prescribed
from medicine.
I was 21 years old with a liver of a 50-year-old.
Yeah,
because
that's
of the
ridiculous.
medication was destroying my liver. It was helping me out, but it was still killing me at the same time.
Yeah, I don't get us going on pharmaceuticals. We're not going to get those for sponsors, but that's amazing. I didn't know that about you.
I was diagnosed with epilepsy when I was 12 years old.
No, I mean I didn't know that either, but I didn't know that you had sort of found a way to overcome your sickness with medical marijuana.
I've had seizures in the worst places possible.
Did it cure you from having them?
No, it cured me from having a better control on them. I have a chemical imbalance in my brain for, the stuff that keeps me from just, fully functional.
Yeah.
When someone has epilepsy, there's a lack of a chemical that goes into the brain that controls the neural system, that controls everything and allows you to utilize your motor skills. By introducing a certain strain of marijuana a certain amount of times throughout the month, I am able to live. I am able to operate a vehicle. I am able to be working at a computer. I am able to function as a normal contributing member of society.
Wow.
There are people out there that are completely against utilizing marijuana for this disease.
Yeah.
This
Which
disorder.
I hate because they're fine with the pharmaceuticals that
are killing us.
Are really
literally
doing
killing us.
long-term damage.
There was a story that I saw of a 5 or 6 year old little girl who would have 10 to 20 seizures a day.
I think they did a documentary on her.
Yep. And immediately introducing the oil concentrate of the cannabis into her system brought it down significantly, if not had it under control.
It's crazy.
And for anyone who has never had a seizure, be thankful, because imagine right now, I just want you to paint this in your head. You're talking to me, and as you're talking, that happens.
Yeah.
And with that little shake and a reset in your brain, for a microsecond, you lose, your train of thought.
Of course.
And there have been times where, because I've had a stressful night, because I haven't had my full rest, I've had the whole, oh, so yeah, this is what we were talking about right there. That is an example of what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then imagine that's like a petit mal seizure, but imagine having what's called a grand mal seizure, where you and I are having a conversation, and next thing you know, this starts happening. And for the listeners, like my hand just starts going up, and I am not controlling this hand.
Yeah, it's
and I am
terrifying.
trying to bring it down. And I look, and I'm giving this as an example of what happened to me when I was a character at Disney.
Oh wow!
I was on set at Epcot as Goofy, and the night before I had a rough night, didn't get my full sleep. Being in costume, I'm shaking, and a friend of mine noticed. I was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I'll be fine." And that's the one thing about epileptic people. They're very arrogant. They're very hard-headed.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. I know my body. But as I'm on set, I remember seeing my hand go up in the air, and I'm telling my brain is saying, arm down. And next thing you know, fade to black. I have a grand mal seizure in the costume. I fall on top of the family. I get transported to Celebration Hospital. And it was one of the worst experiences of my life because not only was it detrimental to my health, but it was embarrassing in front of all my colleagues and all these people.
Oh God, I can't even imagine.
Which none of them viewed it as that, but you do.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like nobody is like, oh my God, did you see what happened? Like, no, they were probably worried. And because when you do see somebody go through something like that, you're more worried about them. But I can completely understand that.
So you're now in a position where you've found the right mix and you're able to live your life normally, and you don't have. Not only do you not have these, but you don't have concerns that you're anymore?
I don't have as many concerns as I did back 10, 15 years ago.
That's amazing. Because I can tell you, even with my medical situation, part of it starts becoming anxiety that you're going to have some kind of an episode.
Yeah.
And even if you're fine,
which can affect things
your
in
quality
your
of
brain.
life. You might have a great day, but it wasn't as great because the whole time you're worried you might have had a seizure or something weird was going to happen.
Exactly. And now here's the thing, I do smoke marijuana on a recreational stance as well.
Of course.
It's human. We're human.
Yeah.
It's 2021. Once in a while, if I'm with some friends, we're having a good time. Oh, that's okay.
It's coming as a legal thing everywhere. I love it so much because to me, and I'm not really a smoker anymore, but it is so much safer than alcohol.
Oh yeah. Robin Williams said it best. Like, show me the difference between, a drunk guy at a bar. I'll kick your ass after a few drinks, but
Yeah.
No, let me start that all over. You've met the angry drunk, but have you ever met an angry pot smoker?
Never. Don't let that dude smoke. He gets violent. Never heard that ever from anyone. Yeah.
And I apologize that we've kind of like, I've jumped around.
Don't apologize. This is great. But it's a good conversation.
There have been so many things that have happened in my life that like I try to fix.
Yeah.
And I try to be an advocate for other people because I didn't have that hope at a certain point in my life.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say all of us are broken. As I recently was trying to tell my son, I'm like, don't judge yourself too much because all of us are broken in some way.
That's right.
But what I love that you do, that I think this really speaks to your character, is we all deal with the things we deal with in one way or another. But how many of us try to make a difference for other people?
That's what I was going to say. You are showing really that you care about your community through like the outreach that you are doing and trying to get involved and help others, whether it be with their success, with domestic violence, with entertainment, whatever it may be. You're trying to help as in many ways as you possibly can. And that is very commendable.
It really is. Instead of just going, I'm all set, I'm finally good, and now you're trying to help everybody else. So we love having you on the show. I hope you come back.
And thank you for having me. And we got to coordinate a date for you guys to come on Chaos, which
say when,
that'll
man.
be a little bit more chaotic, but
say when. We'll bring the barista.
We're bringing it. Well, how are we doing the ending of the show?
We should do the ending from now on?
We're like, how do we do this?
Thank you very much, Patricio, for coming on the show, and thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, and don't forget, at the end of each and every day,
it's all fine and dandy.